Hello students, welcome to another week of Plant ID. This is Mary again. This week I'll have two videos for you. One on plant pressing, which is a big part of your plants collection project. And this shorter video where I'm just going to talk to you a little bit more about plant reproductive structures. Now, plants are beautiful and diverse, but with diversity, there can come a lot of complexity, because plants are just simply so variable and they can take so many different forms. And so when you're looking at a flower that you're not familiar with, I think a good first step in understanding all the structures that you're looking at is to remember the whorls of a plant. And so by whorls, we mean essentially the structures of a flower going from the outside to the inside. So in this example, we have our four whorls going from outside to inside. We have the sepals, which are the small leaves that surround the flower, the petals, then we have our stamen. Those are our male reproductive structures, also called the androecium. And then we have this central part, the female reproductive structures, and that is also called a gynecium. And so in this example, all four whorls are present. And when all four whorls are present, we have a term for that. That is called a complete flower. Now also, because both the androecium and the gynecium are present, that is also called a perfect flower. Also, because both of those sexual structures are here, that is a bisexual flower as well. And so let's look at another example. Let's take this flower on the left. It can be hard when you're looking at a flower you've never seen before. So again, I always think it's nice to count down those whorls. So on the outside, we have just teeny tiny little sepals. Pardon me. There we go. We have our teeny tiny little sepals. We have our petals. That's our second whorl. We have all of our stamen, a fourth whorl, and then we have the gynecium, which is our fourth whorl. So once again, this is a very similar flower to what we saw before. All four of those whorls are present, so it is a complete flower. And since both the female and male structures are there, it is a perfect or bisexual flower. Now remember, sometimes some of these whorls are missing, and it's great to look at as many examples as you can to make sure that you really understand how variable plants and their flowers can be. Now, I want to talk a little bit about carpels. So a carpel are simply the components of a gynecium. So again, continuing with our discussion of the left diagram, this whole female structure here with the stigma, the style, the ovary, that is one carpel. And trust me on that for now. That is one carpel. And I'll help you understand why that's only one if we compare it to the flower on our right. This whole structure here is actually the gynecium. All of those strange green structures are part of the gynecium, and each of these structures here is itself a complete carpel. Now, I know that can get a little bit difficult to imagine in your mind, but if it helps, this is one gynecium and 5 carpels. Let's take another look at another example. So this is the flower of a cucumber. And cucumbers are known for being tricarpellary, aka having 3 carpels. Now, from this image, it's very difficult to tell that, it would take some careful dissection for you to understand how many carpels a flower has. But we can actually see this in the cross-section of a cucumber. So here we have the division of carpels, and now we can better see the fact that in this fruit that has been produced from the gynecium, we have one fruit and three of those fused carpels coming together to create one fruit. And for our last example, let's go back to our first diagram. Now this was actually showing us a plant with multiple carpels. I'll give you a second. How many carpels do you think that this flower has? It has 5 carpels. I'm just going to assume you got it right. Good job. Now, the image is kind of suggesting this to us when we look at this gynecium. It has this sort of segmentation, which is suggesting multiple carpels. And we can confirm that in this cross section here, as we again see this kind of segmentation. And that is indicating to us that there are multiple carpels. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because carpels, if there are multiple carpels, perhaps if there are no carpels at all, it can be a little confusing when you're trying to identify plants. So I just wanted to provide some examples of this and show you some of the diversity that can occur within plants. I hope this video helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy your week.